this team still got winners on the team, and they still going to incorporate that defensive culture that they have been adjusted to the last years that they have Wade and Haslam at the helm there. So we'll take a look at the Miami and see what they got here. The next team we need to look at is the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards actually had a successful last year. They actually was in the playoffs and beat a Bulls team that that was pretty darn good in the last year. But as far as they didn't have much offense, but you can't blame the Wizards for taking advantage of that. So now they want to go ahead and take this into the next season. Of course, their lineup is going to be John Wall, Bradley Beal. He's still coming back from an injury, so he's going to be out for a minute. Paul Pierce, you got Nene and Marcin Gortat. Love Marcin Gortat. He is a guy that does little things as well, and he actually got some talent behind it. Martell Wessler's coming off the bench. Drew Gooden, Andre Miller. Andre Miller is the guy that can also come off the bench and give you matchup problems. He's a little older now, but back in the days, he can definitely give you a point guard problem if they weren't big and physical enough to guard him in the post. He knows what it is. If he can take it, he's going to take it. If he can post you up, he's going to post you up. So let's talk about here. This is a backcourt with Wall and Bill, who is just dangerous. Really, I don't really have any word else to describe it. This team here, that backcourt, and right now it still can be one of the best backcourts in the NBA. You got Paul Pierce. They added. They lost Trevor Ariza and Trevor Booker. So you add Paul Pierce, a veteran that has been there before, to kind of weather the storm. Now, this is a guy that can definitely, who you want to mentor, Wall and Bill and the rest of the team as well. And give you a little bit of, I've been there. In fact, this is how you do it, and this is how I would recommend doing it. This is how I would carry myself when this happens. Besides the whole fight that he had with Joe Kim, no, it wasn't a fight, but it was just a little tussle that they had got in each other's faces in the preseason. But to say the least here, this team is going to be very interesting. I'm actually going to be watching them a lot. This is a team, if you got league pass, I would recommend watching. I'll tell you what, the biggest move that Paul Pierce can actually do for this team is really mentor Otto Porter. Otto Porter is smart that came out at the Georgetown, but he's been having issues with injuries and so this is the thing that if you can get Paul Pierce to help cater or actually mentor this guy along the way. Otto Porter can be the guy who benefited the most from Paul Pierce. You got Glenn Rice Jr., who actually was the MVP of the Las Vegas Summer League. That boy was just lining up everybody would wear. So you got another guy that can come off the bench, but can he crack the rotation in the NBA? He showed he can play some ball, but we'll see if he can play some ball in the NBA. Then, of course, you got rumors of Kevin Durant possibly coming over to D.C. because this is where he grew up. This is where he's from. So there's been rumors that he can be actually showing up, and the reason that Trevor Ariza was not re-signed, that in case they could make room for him to sign. So there's going to be rumors coming up pretty much the whole season, the whole off season about him coming and see if he actually plays. So keep an eye on the Wizards. All right, next team you need to keep watch out is Charlotte. They're not the Bobcats anymore. They're now back to their usual name, the name that everybody has known. If you are a hardcore basketball fan, they are the Charlotte Hornets. That feels right to say. Charlotte Bobcats just kind of took the breath out of you when you say it, but the Charlotte Hornets just feel good to say, because if you're a longtime fan like myself, you just have the vision of the B on the hat and the purple and teal. And I must say that jersey looked really, really nice. So the fact that, they got the Hornets back in the NBA and in Charlotte just feels right. The starting five go like this: Kemba Walker, Lance Stevenson, Michael Kidd, Gilchrist, Cody Zeller, Al Jefferson. As far as their additions and subtractions, as far as Charlotte, of course they add Lance Stevenson, Marvin Williams, Brian Roberts. And so they did lose Chris Douglas-Roberts and Luke Ridnour. Gerald Henderson is going to be he was the starter, but now he's going to go ahead and go to the sixth role position. Marvin Williams, guy who's kind of been a journeyman. He's still trying to figure out what he's going to do in the NBA. He's been projected to be a stretch for. Brian Roberts is the guy that came over from New Orleans and actually gave New Orleans some real good standard of games here. So maybe he just like the main point, so that's why he came over there. But this team here, they can take the next step too. Now that you got Lance Stevenson, who does all the little things. He got 13.8 last year with Indiana, 7.2, 4 6. He just got all around talent. Like I mentioned for what Indiana's going to miss is what Charlotte now is going to gain. You get another ball handler. You actually take a lot of pressure off Kemba Walker. And so this is a year for Kemba Walker to prove his worth too, because he's up for a contract. Al Jefferson, we can rave about Al Jefferson, how great he is. The guy's a warrior. He was on 1 foot last year in the playoffs and still almost got this team a win against the prevalent Miami Heat. So kudos to Al Jefferson coming out there and playing through that injury. And now hopefully he's been slated to be at full health. So now to see this team at full stream, Charlotte could make some noise. And Jordan was on actually record saying that a 7th ring, if he was to win 1 ring as an owner, will mean more than the 6th ring he won as a NBA player. I don't know how much he really means that, but I would never take away 6 ring versus 1. I don't care if you're an owner or not, but it would be pretty cool for me to win as an owner. But this team is still going to make the playoffs and see what happens. They did draft Noah Vonleh, the forward from Indiana, but he's been pretty much a project. But he's trying to see if he can actually crack the lineup. So we have to keep an eye on him and see where he comes. And this year as well. This, of course, Steve Clifford, very familiar face, and he was on Stan Van Gundy's staff in Orlando. He's a head coach here, so this team will keep tabs on them as well and see how they do throughout the season. Next team we're going to talk about, the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks they've been in the news, but for the wrong reasons. Their owner, of course, the whole owner controversy, we're not getting into that. They had to sell the team because of a stereotypical, I won't call it, it's just stereotypical email that was sent out. But anyways, as far as the Atlanta Hawks, their transactions pretty much during the offseason, Atlanta Hawks added Tavo Cephalosha, the defending wing that came from Oklahoma City, and then they lost John Salmons. Their starting lineup basically looked like this. Point guard is going to be Jeff Teague. Kyle Korver is going to run the 2. Damari Carroll is going to be at the 3. Paul Millsap is going to be at the 4. Al Horford is going to be running the center. Al Horford actually was battling injury, so now that he's back with Paul Millsap, we'll see how this team looks now, because you got this 4 and 5 position running here where they come at you at full force. And Jeff Teague, how great was he in the playoffs last year that he was torching Indiana? And this is the team that had the Pacers on the ropes, thanks to a struggling Roy Hibbert, and the rest of the team too just couldn't really figure this out. They had Harold Antich, who's coming off the bench now, where he spread the floor. It's crazy how a 7-foot man like that, who you expect and still be physical inside, can actually go outside and hit a 3-foot jump shot. Adrian Payne's another rookie that they drafted. And like I said, Cephalosha is a guy that can come on and defend the best wing player if you need him to, and he can also shoot the ball. So Atlanta's going to be a very interesting team here. This is a team that you should like to watch. I don't know if they're a bubble team as far as making the playoffs. Budenholzer, who came over from the Spurs staff, he helped T. He was credited from helping Tony Parker return to one the premier point guard. So you see T is still in the progress, but he just have an issue with turnovers. And for a point guard, you want to make sure you bring that down. You can't really have 3 turnovers as a point guard and expect to be your team to make it to be successful. So, of course, you got who's going to back up Jeff T is going to be either Shelvin Mack or Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder is the international point guard that came over here. Also, Kent Bazemore that actually came over from the Lakers. So, this team here, you got to. I don't know. Like I said, they're a bubble team to watch, so you just got to keep a tabs on them, see how they do, and see if they can make any noise in this division that's expecting to be very. This as Mr. Carter said earlier in his segment, this could be a very competitive division. All right, then the last team we're going to talk about is my wonderful Orlando Magic. They were 23-59 last year. This team here, as you see, they added Channing Frye, Luke Ridnour, Ben Gordon, Evan Fourier. They did lose Jameer Nelson, and they lost Aaron Aflalo. Aaron Aflalo is actually part of the trade. Orlando is still in a rebuild movement here, where now they're actually taking, they're actually trying to go a different route and see let Oladipo be the face of the franchise. You got Nick Vucevic, who already signed an extension, is already going to be a big focal point of the team here. This team here, as you look, they're pretty much their starting is going to be. You look at Efra Payton, Victor Oladipo, Tobias Harris, Channing Frye, Nick Vucevic is going to be the starting five. As far as their reserves, Evan Fourier, Mo Harkless, Aaron Gordon, as some to name a few. Kyle Quinn is another guy that you can pay attention to as well. And this team is really, they got a lot of great assets. Orlando is one of those teams that are still, I want to say, a few years away. They can make some noise. The fact that Channing Frye is actually on this team now and what he did for Phoenix as far as spreading out the floor, it's going to be lightweight. It's going to open up the lanes for someone like a Victor Oladipo that can penetrate and actually use the space to actually get into the lanes. Efra Payton can do the same thing, get into the lanes and create and make shots for his other teammates. Nick Vucevic can operate from the mid post inside into the post. Nick Vucevic is a double-double machine. This is the guy that you want to watch out for as far as being one of the most improved players in the NBA. He averaged 14 and 11 last year. But you just wonder if he's been better on the defensive end side of the ball. But that's one place that he needs to improve. Tobias Harris is someone that you want to keep an eye on as well, too. They're going to hold off on the negotiations about his contract extension and let the market dictate his value. It's a risky ball game, but I guess they want to go from there. They're just not meeting in the middle where they want to be. But Tobias is a guy who's looked fantastic in the preseason. So I'm telling you, as a fan, and where this team is going to be very fun to watch. Oladipo right now is still injuries, so this is some guys that still battling injuries. So, but Orlando Magic, they're not there yet. They can scare some teams. I tell you what. This is a team that you would hate to play on their home court. You have to earn it. When you come in there and play Orlando, just watching them guys, it's not going to be an easy win. It's not. So just be expected when you come in there to play. This is the coach. This is the team that's being coached by Jack Vaughn. So just keep an eye on Orlando in a few years. Hey, like I said, as a fan, if they make the playoffs and surprise me, fantastic. Am I expecting it? Not really. So, all right. So as far as who's going to win this division, I got the Wizards winning the division. I think they're just really talented. They're deep everywhere. Then the Paul Pierce move to actually help them out to mentor them on the way to when they make the playoffs. Be a fun team to watch. Depending on how long the Bradley Beal injury is going to be, I got the Wizards winning this division. My team, as far as who I would get, as far on my team, Nick Vucevic will be my center. Al Jefferson will be my power forward. You know what? No, I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go big. I got Nick Vucevic. I got Al Jefferson. I got Chris Bosh. My point guard is going to be John Wall. Shooting guard. My shooting guard is going to be. I'm going Victor Oladipo. That's who I'm going with. I take two Magic guys here. I gotta take them. Gotta respect my team. But there's still a project in there. But yeah, this is who I got. I got them in the division. All right, so out the East. This is how this is going to go. I got Cleveland at the number 1 spot. Chicago's going to be the second best record behind them. Washington's going to be 3. Toronto's going to be 4. I got Brooklyn number 5. I'm gonna pick Miami at number 6 spot. Charlotte gonna be number 7, and I'm gonna take Detroit. Detroit's gonna be my 8th seed. As far as coming out the East, who's gonna be matching up, it's gonna be Chicago and Cleveland. Chicago and Cleveland's gonna match up, and Cleveland's gonna get to the NBA Finals.